Every day, countless seniors wake up believing that their morning routine is harmless and ordinary. Yet hidden beneath the surface, there is a silent threat that many overlook until it strikes suddenly: stroke. For older adults, strokes are not just a medical event. They are life-changing moments that can strip away independence, speech, mobility, and in some cases, even the ability to recognize loved ones. To understand why one simple morning choice matters so much, it is important first to see how strokes affect the senior population and why this risk becomes higher with age. As we grow older, our bodies naturally undergo changes that make blood vessels less flexible and more prone to damage. The arteries, which once carried blood freely, begin to stiffen, and plaques of cholesterol can build up along their walls. This narrowing restricts the flow of oxygen-rich blood to the brain. A stroke occurs when a blood clot blocks this already limited pathway or when a weakened blood vessel bursts, flooding the brain with blood. Either way, the damage is immediate and often permanent. For seniors, these risks are multiplied because of conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, and heart disease, which become more common with age. Add in stress, poor diet, or lack of movement, and the brain becomes an easy target for sudden disruption. The consequences are devastating. Imagine starting the day feeling fine, but within seconds, the ability to move one side of the body is gone. Words get stuck in the throat, vision blurs, or consciousness fades. For many, this is not just a health crisis, but the beginning of long-term disability. Rehabilitation can take months, requiring endless patience, therapy sessions, and support from caregivers. Even then, many seniors never return to the level of independence they once enjoyed. Everyday tasks like eating, dressing, or walking across a room may suddenly require assistance. The emotional toll is equally heavy. Depression, frustration, and isolation often follow in the wake of a stroke. What makes this more alarming is how quickly strokes can strike without warning. They don't wait for illness to announce itself. They can happen to someone who seemed perfectly fine just minutes before. This unpredictability is why prevention becomes more important than treatment. Once a stroke occurs, doctors can act to minimize damage, but nothing compares to avoiding the event altogether. That is where lifestyle changes, especially morning habits, come into play. The first hours after waking up are particularly critical for seniors because the body has just gone through hours of sleep without hydration, movement, or stimulation. Blood tends to be thicker in the morning, and blood pressure often rises sharply upon waking. This combination creates a perfect storm for strokes to occur early in the day. Consider how many seniors wake up and reach directly for coffee, cigarettes, or sugary foods. These habits further increase blood pressure, strain the heart, and dehydrate the body. Without realizing it, the morning routine is setting up the brain and arteries for danger. On the other hand, science has shown that a single protective morning habit can reverse this risk, lowering the chances of stroke dramatically. The idea may sound simple, but its impact is profound. Researchers have tracked seniors who practice this habit regularly, and the results are clear. Their risk of stroke decreases by nearly half compared to those who do not. This means fewer hospital visits, fewer disabilities, and more years of quality life. Before revealing what that habit is, it's worth pausing to reflect on why the morning is such a powerful window of opportunity. The brain has just finished processing a night's worth of cellular repair and detoxification. Blood circulation is sluggish, and the heart is preparing to ramp up for the day. Seniors who neglect this moment or fill it with harmful actions unknowingly tip the scale toward danger. But seniors who start the day with intention, focusing on circulation, hydration, and calm, give their brains the exact protection needed at the time it is most vulnerable. Family members and caregivers should also recognize how vital this knowledge is. Encouraging seniors to adopt safer morning routines is not just about avoiding stroke, but about preserving memory, clarity, and independence for years to come. It's about making sure grandparents can still play with their grandchildren, share stories, and enjoy meaningful moments without the constant shadow of stroke looming overhead. Too often, people believe that aging automatically means surrendering health and vitality, but that is far from the truth. While we cannot control every factor, we can absolutely influence daily habits that shape the odds in our favor. In the upcoming discussion, the focus will shift to the exact morning practice that science supports as a stroke shield for seniors. For now, it's important to understand the urgency. Stroke is not a distant risk, it is a clear and present danger. Each choice, especially in the morning, tilts the balance between vulnerability and resilience. By recognizing the threat and committing to prevention, seniors can protect not only their health, but also their dignity and independence. The smallest habit, practiced consistently, has the power to slash stroke risk by nearly 50%, a fact too powerful to ignore. Stroke is often described as a sudden event, but in truth, it is the result of many small processes building quietly inside the body over time. To understand how one simple morning habit could protect seniors, it helps to see the science of stroke itself and how our daily routines can either fuel the risk or guard against it. At its core, a stroke happens when the brain is deprived of the oxygen and nutrients it desperately needs. The brain cannot store energy like other organs, so even a brief interruption in blood flow can lead to damage within minutes. For seniors, whose arteries and vessels may already be weakened or narrowed, the chances of such an interruption are far higher. The most common form is an ischemic stroke, where a clot blocks the flow of blood to the brain. Picture a pipe that has gradually narrowed because of deposits along its inner walls. As the opening becomes smaller, even a small clot can stop the flow entirely. This is what happens inside the brain's blood vessels when cholesterol plaques build up over years of poor diet, smoking, or uncontrolled blood pressure. The second type, hemorrhagic stroke, occurs when a weakened blood vessel bursts, spilling blood into brain tissue. While less common, it is often more deadly. In both cases, the chain of events leading to the stroke has been forming for years, long before the crisis finally unfolds. Scientists studying stroke prevention have discovered something fascinating. The early hours of the day, when the risk is highest, blood pressure naturally surges in the morning, sometimes by as much as 30%, as the body wakes up and prepares for activity. This morning surge is normal, but in seniors with stiff or narrowed arteries, it can be dangerous. At the same time, blood is more concentrated after hours of sleep without water, making it thicker and more prone to forming clots. This combination of spike in pressure and thicker blood creates a perfect storm. It explains why so many strokes and heart attacks occur within a few hours of waking up. Lifestyle choices in those early hours play a powerful role in tipping the balance. For example, going straight for a cup of coffee may feel comforting, but caffeine temporarily raises blood pressure even higher, adding to the risk. Lighting a cigarette constricts blood vessels, reduces oxygen supply, and increases clotting tendency, all disastrous factors for stroke risk. Even eating a heavy, salty breakfast can put unnecessary strain on the cardiovascular system. Each of these choices may seem harmless in isolation, but they add fuel to an already dangerous fire. On the other hand, researchers have also found that small, positive actions in the morning can counteract these risks almost immediately. Gentle movement, hydration, and oxygenation through deep breathing all have measurable effects on blood flow, vessel flexibility, and brain function. Studies show that seniors who engage in healthy morning practices not only lower their risk of stroke, but also experience improved memory, focus, and energy throughout the day. The connection between lifestyle and stroke is not a vague idea. It is backed by decades of research showing that daily habits are as powerful as medicine in determining long-term health outcomes. Consider the role of hydration. Water thins the blood, improves circulation, and helps regulate blood pressure. In seniors, who often have a reduced sense of thirst, Dehydration is common and can quietly raise stroke risk. Scientists observing seniors who begin their day with water instead of coffee or tea found that their morning blood pressure spikes were significantly lower, and their blood flow was more stable. Similarly, light movement, such as stretching or walking for just 5 to 10 minutes, wakes up the muscles and cardiovascular system in a gradual, healthy way, rather than shocking the body into high stress. Oxygenating the brain through calm, steady breathing also reduces inflammation and improves vessel flexibility, making it harder for clots to form. The science is clear. Prevention does not have to be complicated or expensive. 1 or 2 small adjustments to the morning routine can create a ripple effect throughout the entire day, lowering the likelihood of stroke not just in the morning, but in the hours and weeks ahead. Researchers estimate that up to 80% of strokes could be prevented through lifestyle changes alone. That statistic is staggering because it means most strokes are not inevitable. They are the result of missed opportunities to take protective action. For seniors, who are often told that aging comes with unavoidable decline, this truth is empowering. The body still responds to care, even in later years. This is why focusing on the morning is so essential. It is not just about forming good habits, but about targeting the very window of time when the brain and arteries are most vulnerable. Think of it as putting on armor before stepping into battle. Without that protection, the risks are magnified. With it, the body is far more resilient. Seniors who understand this can take back control over a threat that too often feels random and unavoidable. In the next part of this journey, the focus shifts from the science to the solution itself, the specific morning habit that experts have linked to a 50% reduction in stroke risk. Knowing the mechanism is one thing, but putting it into action is where the real transformation begins. The research points clearly to one simple practice, and seniors who embrace it give themselves a daily shield, guarding not just against stroke, but against the fear of losing independence to a preventable event. The moment has arrived to reveal the habit that researchers have found to be remarkably effective in reducing stroke risk for seniors. And the answer is beautifully simple: drinking a glass of warm water first thing in the morning. At first, it may seem too ordinary to carry such weight, but science shows that this practice creates a cascade of protective effects inside the body, particularly for older adults whose arteries, circulation, and hydration status are more fragile than they used to be. By beginning the day with this small act, seniors can support their cardiovascular system, brain, and overall health in a way that reduces the likelihood of stroke by nearly half. Why water, and why in the morning? The body spends 7 to 9 hours asleep without any intake of fluids, which means it wakes up in a mildly dehydrated state. Blood becomes thicker, circulation slows, and the heart must pump harder to push this thicker blood through arteries that may already be stiffened with age. For seniors, this combination creates the perfect setup for a stroke. Warm water, however, thins the blood naturally, improving its flow and reducing the risk of clot formation. By rehydrating the body immediately upon waking, seniors give their brain and heart the relief they need at the most critical moment of the day. The warmth of the water is equally important. Cold water can cause constriction of the blood vessels, which is the opposite of what the body needs in those vulnerable hours. Warm water, on the other hand, relaxes the vessels, encourages smoother circulation, and supports digestion and metabolism. It is like sending a gentle signal to the cardiovascular system to wake up gradually and safely, rather than forcing it into a state of stress. For seniors, whose blood vessels are already less flexible, this simple act of kindness to the body has measurable effects. Hydration first thing in the morning also helps regulate blood pressure. High blood pressure, known as the silent killer, is the single greatest risk factor for stroke. Drinking warm water dilutes sodium levels in the bloodstream and aids the kidneys in flushing out excess salt and waste. Over time, this reduces pressure on the arteries and makes it less likely for them to rupture or become blocked. In fact, In studies where seniors consistently practiced morning hydration, blood pressure readings improved significantly within just a few weeks. That is not just theory, it is evidence of the body's remarkable ability to respond positively to even the smallest changes. There are other ripple effects that make this habit so powerful. Warm water supports the brain's oxygen supply, ensuring that the millions of neurons responsible for memory, speech, and movement get the fuel they need. Seniors who drink water in the morning often report feeling more alert, more energized, and more balanced throughout the day. It also kickstarts digestion, which indirectly helps cardiovascular health. When the gut is functioning well, inflammation in the body decreases, and lower inflammation translates into healthier arteries and a reduced chance of clotting. Some seniors like to add lemon to their warm water, and this can provide an additional boost of antioxidants and vitamin C, which fight oxidative stress, a factor linked to both stroke and aging. However, plain warm water on its own is still deeply effective. The key is consistency. 1 glass each morning, within 10 to 15 minutes of waking, establishes a rhythm that the body quickly adapts to. Over time, this rhythm becomes protective armor for the brain and heart. Stories from real life make this practice even more convincing. Take, for example, seniors who had been struggling with frequent dizziness, headaches, or high blood pressure. Many of them reported noticeable improvements in these symptoms after just a few weeks of adopting the habit. They felt steadier, more energetic, and more in control of their health. Doctors monitoring these individuals often found improved circulation markers and better hydration levels during checkups. While warm water alone cannot cure every condition, it creates a foundation of stability that supports all other treatments and lifestyle changes. The beauty of this habit lies in its accessibility. There are no complicated instructions, no expensive supplements, and no barriers of age or income. Any senior can begin tomorrow morning by simply filling a cup with warm water and drinking it before anything else. Unlike some health strategies that require significant effort or lifestyle overhauls, this is something that takes less than a minute and can be done without assistance. Yet the payoff is enormous: reduce stroke risk, improve circulation, and enhance overall well-being. Of course, the habit works best when paired with other mindful choices. For example, avoiding cigarettes and heavy salty breakfasts, practicing a few minutes of light movement, and managing stress through breathing or meditation all amplify the benefits. But even on its own, the morning glass of warm water is a game changer. It represents a shift from neglect to intentional care, from vulnerability to resilience. This is why experts emphasize that prevention is not about extraordinary measures, but about ordinary actions done consistently. Seniors often think that, because aging is natural, health decline is inevitable. Yet the truth is that the body remains highly responsive to daily choices. A simple glass of warm water each morning is proof of this. It is not about trying to turn back the clock, but about strengthening the present moment and protecting the future. For seniors who want to enjoy their independence, mobility, and clarity of mind, this habit is a small but powerful ally in the fight against stroke. Drinking a glass of warm water first thing in the morning is a powerful first step in protecting seniors from the devastating effects of stroke, but the impact of this habit can be multiplied when it is paired with other simple and sustainable practices. Think of it as creating a shield around the brain and heart. Each element of the morning routine adds another layer of defense, and when combined, they form a system that keeps the body resilient against the silent risks that aging brings. The beauty of these practices is that they do not require expensive equipment, complicated instructions, or drastic changes. Instead, they are small, intentional actions that fit naturally into the first minutes of the day, setting a healthy tone for everything that follows. One of the most effective ways to build on the warm water habit is to add a few minutes of gentle movement. The body has been at rest for hours during sleep, and circulation slows as a result. By taking just 5 to 10 minutes to stretch or walk slowly around the room or yard, seniors can encourage blood flow, loosen stiff joints, and help oxygen-rich blood reach the brain more efficiently. Stretching the arms above the head, rotating the shoulders, bending forward gently, or walking in place can awaken the muscles without strain. This light activity also signals the cardiovascular system to wake up gradually, rather than being shocked into sudden exertion, which is especially important for seniors with high blood pressure. The goal is not exercise intensity, but gentle activation, giving the arteries and veins a smooth start to the day. Pairing hydration with movement creates an even greater effect. As warm water thins the blood and hydrates tissues, movement ensures that this blood flows freely throughout the body. The combination reduces the risk of clot formation and provides the brain with the oxygen and nutrients it craves in the morning hours. Seniors who adopt both habits often notice that their mornings feel clearer, lighter, and more energized compared to days when they skip them. This is the type of consistent, positive reinforcement that makes a habit stick. Breathing exercises are another powerful addition. Deep, steady breathing improves oxygen delivery, calms the nervous system, and reduces inflammation in blood vessels. Seniors can sit comfortably after drinking their water, place one hand on the chest and the other on the belly, and take slow breaths in through the nose, allowing the belly to rise. Exhaling slowly through the mouth completes the cycle. Just 3 to 5 minutes of this practice lowers stress hormones and stabilizes blood pressure. Since stress is a hidden contributor to stroke risk, especially in seniors who may feel isolated or anxious, managing it through morning breathing rituals is a practical form of prevention. Over time, these calm moments of focus also improve mental clarity and emotional resilience, making the day ahead easier to face. Another way to strengthen the morning routine is by adding nutrient-rich enhancers to the water. Lemon, for example, offers vitamin C and antioxidants, which fight oxidative stress and support blood vessel health. A teaspoon of chia seeds, soaked in warm water, provides fiber, omega-3 fatty acids, and a slow release of energy. Some seniors prefer adding a few drops of raw honey, which not only improves taste, but also brings antibacterial properties and gentle energy. These additions are not necessary for the core habit to work, but they provide an extra layer of nutritional support for the cardiovascular system. Each sip then becomes more than just hydration, it becomes medicine in a natural form.